Hello and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to share with you a third technique using the embossing paste from Stampin' Up. And this one we're going to colour the paste to give an ombre effect. Now the paste can be found on page 201 of the 2017-18 catalogue here. And it comes, or there's two other products that support this particular one, which is the decorative masks and the palette knives. And so for the, if I just show you what we've got here. So this is the paste. You can see it's quite a generous pot. I'm on my third pot. It's such fun to work with. The palette knives, there's 3 palette knives. And then the masks, there's one with the clouds, which we used in our first technique. The next one is a lovely medallion, and then we have a brick one, which we used in our second technique, and then the fourth one is the trellis, and we're going to be using that in today's card. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got something something to protect your work surface. Plus you need to have some warm soapy water in a container next to you, and some kitchen paper towel. This is just an aluminium pan, turkey pan, I guess, that I've used for mine. So we're going to use vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to start by stamping my sentiment, and I'm using the vertical greeting stamp set, and I'm going to be using For You, and I'm going to use soft suede for this one. So I'm just going to pop that there, and then that bit's done. So then we're going to colour up the paste, and I've already started. I've got my first 2 done, and for my ombre effect I'm using the colours Calypso Coral, Peekaboo Peach, and then my palest is So Saffron. So this is the paste. You can see it's nice and soft. It reminds me a little bit of like a marshmallow frosting, I think. I'm on my third pot at the moment. It's such fun to work with. So you want to take a piece and make sure you cover up your pot straight away, otherwise it will dry out. And you can see I've put some clear film on that to try and keep that as moist as I can. And then I'm going to place that there. And I'm going to put the tiniest, weeniest drop of ink next to that, because I can always add, I can't take any out. And then we're just going to work it in. This, as I say, this is the So Saffron. And you can mix it so it's a nice smooth paste. Alternatively, if you want to have a little bit of, you know, sort of whirly stripy effect from white and a little bit of the yellow colour, then you can do that as well. So I'm just going to bring this up into a little heap like that. There we go. And then this palette knife here I'm going to put straight into my soapy water so it doesn't stick. Okay, so I'm just going to cover that up a few minutes just to make sure I don't lose my working time. So I'm just going to place the mask over my piece of cardstock, and I want to make sure I don't cover up my sentiment. So you can put your finger there or just keep your eye on it. And it really doesn't matter which colour you start with. I think I'm going to start with my darkest one. This is the Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to smooth it on just like you put butter on bread, make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I don't necessarily want to cover the entire card, but I just want to put some down. I'm not going to bother cleaning up my my palette knife because I want an ombre effect, so I want to work the colours in together so there's like a smooth transition, and I'm still keeping my eye on my sentiment there. And then my last colour is the So Saffron, so I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to work that at the top. And I'm making sure that the transition between the colours is, you know, there's no gap or anything, that it just is a nice smooth transition. I'm struggling to see here because the colour of the card is so much like the colour of the paper, of the paste. Okay, so I think I'm good there. Straight away I am going to put my palette knife into the water and set that aside, and I'm just going to separate out my, there we go, and this mask is going to go straight in my water as well. So there's the technique really. We've got the colour in there. You might find there's a little bit of overhanging. Just run your finger around and it will take out the additional paste there. So we're going to set that aside to dry for a few moments while we go on and make the rest of the card. So all the dimensions for my card will be on my blog so that you can follow through, and there'll be a link to that at the end of the video. So I'm using, oh, my mind's gone blank, soft suede, very vanilla and So Saffron for this card, and a vanilla envelope. So using my piece of paper, I am going to stamp one of the trees onto my layer, and I've chosen the one with like the bally topiary, and I'm going to stamp that in Pear Pizzazz. Stamp that off. I'm just going to line it up by eye. There we go. Oh, perfect. I want to make my little pot a different colour, so I'm just going to wipe off the bottom there, and on a scrap of paper and with my soft suede, I'm just going to ink up the pot and stamp, and then with a pair of paper snips I'm just going to trim the pot. Real simple, and you can cut on the inked line or you can leave a little margin, it's entirely up to you. Looks like I've chosen to cut on the line. There we go. And I'm going to get a dimensional, stick it on the back, and then use it to cover up the green part of the pot. Lovely. Excuse me. And then I'm going to use some snail adhesive. Helps if you open the top. And I'm going to layer it onto some So Saffron, like that. And then I'm going to put some more dimensionals on the back. And I think I'm going to put one in the middle because it's a long, thin piece. Like that. Okay, so that's that piece done for the minute. Then we're going to, I'm going to do the inside of my card and the envelope while that continues to dry. So again, I'm going to just wipe off my green there. And I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz. And I'm just going to ink up the branches or the bushes. There we go, and pop that on my card. And then I always like to put in a liner or an insert when I use darker cardstock. I'm just going to do the same here for my inside. So I think we're probably done with our stamping now. Right, let's clear the deck so we can see what we're up to. So then we're back with this, and this should be very nearly, yeah, I think it's just going to be dry enough for me to work with. So I'm going to put some snail adhesive on the back, and I'm going gently just in case that's still a little bit damp, and then layer that onto a piece of So Saffron. And so this So Saffron is 4 by 5 1/4. And then my base card is in soft suede, and that's 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to start by attaching my liner or my insert. Okay. Press it firmly down. Lovely. And then on the layer, I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals again. So one in each corner and one in the middle, just to give it some support. And then pop that there. And then I'm going to take the backing off of these dimensionals and pop it on my card. And then I'm going to use some of the lovely Calypso Coral Ombre ribbon, and I've just tied a little bow, and I'm going to use a glue dot to attach it to the top of the pot. And then as a final flourish, I'm just going to put a little pearl, oh, it's got a mind of its own, in the middle of each of my pieces, or my little topiary pieces. So that's 3 techniques I've shared with you using this wonderful paste. As I say, I have more details on my blog, and there'll be a link to where you can get the supplies from my online store. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, and bye for now.